fine. I'm gonna actually check how it looks like on this end. Oh, we actually are getting enough furnaces built now. And that makes me feel I could fit another science pack factory here. I don't know if I'll be able to, so let's do it in reverse. First laying out the belts for the yeah. So I'm gonna put this here and remove this one, and we finish logistics 3. What we're gonna do next, let's do the research of this. Lab research speed 5. And let's see if we can fit another factory here. I'm out of iron, so we'll need more of that. We are making enough furnaces to fit at least another production line there. So let's do one more and we'll see how will that affect the stock. Because right now we are making more furnaces than we're using. How many is used anyway? 2 of them. Okay, so I want to make this in a way so that it can fit. I need to get 2 belts next to it. Okay, so this is the farthest I can put it. So I need to make 2 belts that go along. Yes. Well, this should work. A red one here and a yellow one here. Okay, I think this will work. Famous last words. So split one over there and I split this one over there. Okay. That's one. I am carefully optimistic about this prospect. So if I want more purple sizes here. So yeah, I can make it. It's a tight fit though. And if I ever get an idea that I want to make more of them, I'll have to do something about this layout. More specifically, I'll have to do something about those pipes. Well, I can always move the pipes. I also have to get the belts one to the right. But we'll see how that works. For the time being, I want to even be sure that I can do this properly without causing any havoc. Okay. Well, from what I'm seeing, I should be able to. But this can only mean one factory like this. If I actually want to fit this, I'll have to do something about that. Okie dokie. Yeah, it's working. For what it's worth, it's working. So it's a 3rd factory making those. Now I'm gonna invest in some modules. So productivity module works with this, and the speed module. Okay, so productivity module and a speed module. Sure, why not? I don't feel like making my own, so... Oh. Oh, it's a good thing I didn't connect this, because this would be a disaster. Do you want this? Ah, no, 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 no. No, this isn't working the way I hoped it would. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, now, yeah, now it works fine. Now it works. This one I'm gonna put modules into. If I can find them, where are they? There we go. Now that saying about extra products, I sincerely doubt it. Maybe this one indicates that, but it's not exactly the best system ever invented. That being said, it does work, so I guess I can't really complain that much. We'll see how much of a extended consumption that one more factory makes. It shouldn't be too difficult, and at least we now know that we are making more than enough furnaces, so we don't need to do anything extra. It takes a while for them to make that anyway. And the iron is back in at normal now that we're not making any extra cogs, so... We don't have a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Everything seems to be working just fine. And even copper is reaching the end of the line, so everything is fine. Everything is doing just fine. Let's go fix our tank. I'm on 2 seats about going into combat. There is no enemy which is currently posing a threat to us that I need to take care of. Nor does any of these locations right now need any expansion into. I mean, I could go for this oil and make another train. But I'm not really bothered. I'm not really in such a need for oil, to be honest. I have enough of it. To be honest, right now we're playing the waiting game. Essentially, we're done with everything that needs to be done, and we just ride on our coattails as we wait for certain research to be done. We did what we could to speed it up. I'm gonna see how the whole furnaces thing looks. Consider that we are actually making a surplus of purple science here. I think we're good. Which means I could probably extend that. There's no point in there being any signs that I can't utilize. So that being said, the more labs work, the more speed we get from our research. And all of the labs up there can be supplied with no problem, but the lower ones can't be, so this will work just fine. Now up to 7 labs can be supplied, and 6 of them are actually actively working. That's all we want to see, just the sign that all of the science is working. Now, I did see that there is one more type of science that's required, and I think that one I'm gonna just be feeding into the labs manually, because I don't have anywhere else to fit another belt, and that's the space sciences, and that's for the actual spaceship, I guess. But if I'm not mistaken, that's the science that you do at the end anyway, so there's no point really in worrying about it right now. All of this is working just fine. I'm gonna check the bottom of the belts to see if there's anything here that's lacking, although it shouldn't be. Oh, everything seems to be fine. We are well on our way. Oh, let me check the brick situation. The brick situation is good. It's hanging in there, and we are getting the rock we need to keep making it. Although it's not that fast, it has to be said. We are actually now having the consumption needed for it, so let's do this. Oh, there is something there blocking my thing. Ah, yes. Whoopsie daisy, that wasn't intended. That was an accident. Oops. Yeah, you don't need to unload from the locomotive. There we go. That will keep the belt full. It will also make unloading faster, but it also means that this train will now become more important than it used to be. What's your fuel situation? Decent enough. Okay, they are being fed, so it's fine. And there goes the train. That's one of the things I might actually work on now. Maybe I'm gonna need to increase the stone production. Speaking of the stone production, that might be something we need to look into right now. Also, it just occurred to me, why don't I just pick up the car when I'm done with it? Because I can fit the car into my pocket somehow. So I don't have to leave it parked there, I can just pick it up and keep it with me. I just have to remember that it also picks up all the fuel I had. So I have to refuel it when I lay it down. Which is silly. Okay. So let's go check the situation. Where's my car? There's my car. This is not the car I used, but that's fine. Ouch. I'm gonna keep off the tracks as much as possible because I am gonna get leveled by it at some point. I do have some extra drills, don't I? Here. This should help. This place is doing fine though, I don't have anything to worry about on this side. Ah, I see an empty drill. Where would I place it? Here. Okay, time to pay a visit to other mining operations to see if there's any kind of a problem or if we need to replace some drills or put them in different locations. The steel mine up top, I think it's fine. We only freshly made that one, so that should be okay. But the two iron mines down here might need some adjustments, as well as the copper mine and the uranium mine. I didn't even pay attention to the uranium mine since I set it up. Since I destroyed all of the biter nests around there, it didn't really need any more work to be put around it. Just have to be careful about the trains. As far as I can tell, all of the drills are drilling, so everything's fine on this end. Check the... I think I just went to the other drilling site earlier, and there were no drills that either. Oh Christ! Sorry, I'm hiccuping today. Well, burping more like it, but anyway. Yeah, all of these are drilling, so there is no need for these to be moved. And the copper mines should still be just fine. I'm taking a shortcut, so if there's any new biter nests, I'll run into them. Over here, all is well. There are no needs for anything to be changed or addressed. All of these are pumping as much as they can pump. Why is the electricity here dropping though? I'm gonna have to go check my power supply. All the drills here are still drilling. All this is fine. But we seem to be having some power fluctuations, which either means that I'm not making enough power or that some of the power plants aren't functioning at the moment. It's difficult to believe that we're not making enough power since I'm currently running 4 turbines along all of the steam power I'm making alongside of it, which leads me to believe it's something else entirely that's at stake here, but we'll see now when I get to it. So let's see. All of these are working, and all of these are working. we're not making enough power? Really? We aren't making a steady enough... stream of power. Which means we could use another turbine. I'm gonna have to do something about that. Well, I guess it's time for another turbine. Just gonna take some copper and make a turbine. Make a turbine right away. What I can't make is a heat exchanger. I need copper for that. But now it seems that we don't have a power problem. So, what's the dealio? Was it just a cable issue? We can make up to 43 megawatts. Was it this cable? Was it really just a cable issue? Huh. Was it that the fuel cell was being changed? And it needed to heat up again? We're like making... Well, you know what? I'm gonna put the turbine down just because, but... it doesn't seem like we really need it, to be honest. But it's there. I'll make sure it's connected though. I think it is, but I think it's connected through this one, but I don't trust it anymore. So here, this is a spaghetti of cables, but now we make up to 50. So we make it double than what we need. So don't tell me we're not making enough power. And that's all running off a single reactor, which is marvelous. I think since this line hasn't moved, or if it did, it moved slowly towards this one, that we are actually handling as many as we can when it comes to purple sciences. I don't think we can handle any more than this. So what else can I do? Oh, there is a couple of drills which aren't working anymore. The heavy industrial complex. I like how you can actually loop all the oil that you don't need into the ones you need. I can't believe that it took me so long to realize of certain things about fuel oil production. So need. I just need some electric engines for this. Might as well take this and make it exoskeleton. Where am I making electric engines? There we go. Oh, perfect. Ah, no, 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 no. Okay, so that's something that you put in your armor. Let's see how big it is. Oh, now we move faster. Oh, our model actually changed, didn't it? Or is it just my imagination? Can I actually move this to see? Oh, it is just my imagination. There is no change. I thought that maybe the model changed. Well, the sprite maybe changed when I put that on, but there is no change. All it does is just makes me faster. Whee! By 30%. Which also means I can outrun the enemies more easily. Should we go and kill some? We could annihilate some of them. There is no really need to do it. Instead, I should focus my energies on increasing the production wherever I can, and I can see that the lab research speed has been almost completed. That should help with the remaining researches we have left, as that will take a lot of time. What I don't know about the research speed is what exactly do they mean by research speed? The speed in which these things are produced? Ah, yes, it does. So the research speed is 2.9. Because there's a 190% increase. I see. Oh, there is another one. And that one is also 500. So yes, by all means, take that one as well. We need all the increase in speed we can take because, let's see. Oh, so this is how it actually works. I thought that it was going one by one, but it actually takes all of them all at once. Ah, okay. It actually makes more sense as well. I don't know why I thought it was different. That's actually quite cool. I like that. I like how you can actually see all of them that are being used at the moment. That's really cool. I like that. That's a good touch. All of this is working as it should. Are there any other things that I need to build? Hmm. 10 energy shields for this. Let's see. Combat shotgun, flamethrower. I don't really need any of this. And the destroyer capsule was such a disappointment. And it takes so much resources to make it. And I was so excited about it. I was thinking, oh, I can keep my offensive robots, which will be housed in my roboport, and I'll be able to use them, and they'll follow me around. It'll be cool. It'll be awesome. They're permanent. Yeah, no, they're just like defenders. They're temporary. They're disposable. They're usable, and then it's just, yeah. That kind of sucks. I mean, it sucks a lot. I mean, that. I don't get it. We get a personal roboport and we can make construction robots, but we can't make offensive robots. Why? there is a way to balance it. You can make that you have a maximum amount that you can have around with you, and the maximum firepower they can muster, and all of those things. But if you can have defender capsules and you can deploy like 5 or 6 of them, there is no reason whatsoever. Not why wouldn't you have personal robots of the offensive kind? That's upsetting. And I think that we are actually using more furnaces that we are making. But there is not much more I can do. And with this we're actually using a lot more rails as well, so we're actually not having enough rocks being delivered, of all things. Seriously? Is this a request or a provider chest? This is a provider chest. Oh, we are not getting enough stone. That's because we are waiting for the stones to be delivered. Uh-huh. Yeah, I figured. We will have to do something about that. Where's the stone? Well, it is almost full, but we're gonna have to do something about that, because the stone demand is now bigger than it was before, and the only stones that are being delivered now are the ones that we are drilling here. Let's fix this pylon while I'm here. Yeah, we will have to increase the speed of our stone production, because we are now short on it. So I'm gonna put some more drills on it, and then make the train load faster. I have some drills with me, fortunately. Ah, freak. Nope. The reason why I'm putting on a separate belt is because I wanted to load from 2 sources. So one will be loaded by this belt, and one will be loaded by this belt. That way there are 2 sources being filled for that train. It should make the whole thing work a bit faster. Not gonna be drastically faster, but it will be fast enough. Now our demand for rock is a lot more than it used to be, so something to keep in mind. There we go. Demands for stone have been met again. It looks pretty good. Yeah. Our biggest problem is still furnace manufacturing, which is still not as good as I'd like it to be. But that's all due to the red circuitry production, which is making its way, just not as fast as I would like it to be. At this point there is not much more I can do, really. That's now like, what, 10 factories making just red circuits? 7 here, 4, 11 factories making red circuitry alone. Just not enough. Everything demands them. These guys aren't getting enough. Too many consumers require red circuits. Now it will take some time for the rail product manufacturer to keep up that lack of stone. Fortunately, robots are on top of it. So it is, as you can see, proceeding smoothly, even though there is slight gaps. Oh, can I make this even faster somehow? Require even more robots to work on that, no? That being said, I have enough robots here idling, which means that we don't need any more robots. We have enough. There are plenty of robots idling right now. And after I increase their robot capacity, they will be idling even more, so there is no point in me increasing the robot count at this point. We have plenty of them. Oh, did we get run? Did we run out of these things? We did. Ah, that's because we're making yellow sciences again, because we did use up most of it. That being said, we still have plenty. Both yellow and purple are being... I don't know what kind of monstrous production line you would have to have for these to be made faster than you can use them up. I'm gonna have to see what some of the more experienced players of Factorio do as opposed to what I'm doing. I do play this quite more comfortably, more relaxedly, and more... Also, I'm playing in a world where I'm not being outright attacked by biters I didn't antagonize. But I wonder if there is a way, and what are the ways, because you have to keep in mind that in order to increase the volume of any production, you have to increase the amount of materials for that specific production, which is why we had to make 2 more steel production lines from here and from here so that all of our factories have enough steel to work with. Now, red circuitry, for example, that requires regular green electronics, copper wires, and plastics. Plastics we make plenty of just from those 2 factories. That doesn't seem to be an issue. The green circuitry requires copper, and copper wires require copper. We are already working off of this copper refinery, and we might need to make one more at some point in the future. Probably not too far future, to be honest. We'll see how this will keep up once all of this is used up. Although, to be honest, this small amount of copper isn't really making a difference much anymore, one way or the other. I mean, this is just the last vestiges of copper that remains here. And some of it I won't be able to use up because of the way I've put all of this on top of it. But you can see we are not exactly having all of belts full of copper. I might need to make another copper production plant and another iron production plant when we consider it, because the belts are full now, but you can see it doesn't take a lot to disrupt the process because of how many factories use those materials. So if I want to increase the amount of anything being built at this point, I have to exponentially increase the amount of materials I bring into the base, which means more mining operations from other bases. Now it occurs to me that I could have played this game differently, and it will be a lesson learned for the next time I play it, which is that you make your base in sections, and you make it from the get-go in such a way that you allow for expansion of a specific section which does not interfere with other sections, which is different to how I was making it. I simply made a module of factories, and then I went from a main belt and expanded to one direction, then I expanded to the other direction, then I went further up the main belt and again expanded in the one direction and the other direction, and then just filled in the gaps between with other factories I found necessary at the time. And that's certainly one way to do things, but it's clearly not the best way of doing it. Also, I had the freedom to expand as much as I did without worrying about defense, because I'm playing on a peaceful world, meaning that I only have to fight when I'm the one who initiates the combat, or when my base expands in such a way that pollution antagonizes the biters, which is why we had to clear out so many of their nests. If you keep your base in a way that the modules are separate and can be expanded upon without disruption to anything else, then that makes it easier. For example, instead of having one main belt, like I do here, that goes all the way down the length of the base to the final factory at the end, what you could do instead is just make a split to go another way, and after 3 splits, which is I think how much you can have before your belt just can't keep up anymore, is you stop it. And then you just run factories of a single product along a certain line and stockpile it so that you can then utilize that product in other factories. For example, you just need components to make products, and they all come from these basic ones, the wires, the green circuitry, the cogs, and so on, and then they make these intermediary products and other ones. For example, for these engines, I need cogs, pipes, and steel, all of which are basic products. So what I did here, for example, is I'm stockpiling them and then putting them on the line that need them, and that's probably a better way of doing it, just making hubs which only make a certain item, and then you use individual belts from those hubs to supply whatever you need. I guess that's a better way of doing it, but it also requires different type of planning than what I did here. But as you can see, regardless of which way you take it, each of those ways can work without any significant issues. It doesn't matter, it's generally up to you. And I'm just realizing something, that I'm not sure if my audio is being recorded. I'm hoping it is, but the bloody thing on the OBS have glitched out. Well, that will be interesting to see when I finish recording for today and see that nothing has been recorded. But I'm hoping that at least that the tone is being recorded on the stream. I mean, it's not no big deal if I don't record a stream, but if it's not been, if it had no audio, then that's a problem. I guess one of you would told me if there was no audio by now. But nobody did, so I'm going to guess there is. And it does look fine on the Twitch website, so I'm guessing I'm just panicking for no reason and OBS is just being a bitch. What am I doing? I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm rambling, that's what I'm doing. I'm talking about all the things that you can do in the game and how you can play it. And case in point in what I'm talking about is what I did here. This is a hub which is only making red circuitry. But because I'm surrounded by other machinery, I was kind of limited in how I can build it. If I was smarter about the rest of it, I would have more room to work with here. But everything else seems to be working just fine, so screw it. Let's see, what else can we build? What else do we have to build anyway? Oh, this disappointment really bites me. Okay. I do want to use enrichment process, but like I've mentioned and explained before, that enrichment process for uranium requires 40 freaking uranium-235s to be built. And we didn't get a single one yet. Oh, sheesh. Ha. 0.7% to get a single uranium-235. I think I had it wrong. This is simply a chance of getting it. That's simply a chance of getting a uranium-35. So there is 0.7% chance I'm gonna get uranium-235 and 99.3% of chance of getting uranium-238 out of every single time. That blows, my darling. I'm actually amazed that we managed to get as many fuel cells as we did. So we got 200, almost 300 uranium-238. Not a single one was uranium-235. Not a single one. Not one. That's really pitiful. And this enrichment process was supposed to be the way of handling that, but no, it's more bull. And I can look through these 100 times, they won't show me anything different. Actually, give me a moment. I'm going to read about that on the wiki. Okay, so there are essentially what you're supposed to do with this is to create a loop. So yeah, you make a loop essentially and you loop that bloody uranium as many times as it needs to until you get to what you need. That's a really, really bad way of doing it. That's a really, really, really crappy way of doing it. Okay, yeah. So after consulting the wiki briefly to see what the hell the deal is, how they figured, and I guess I see partly what the deal is. Give me a moment. I'm gonna enter that. Okay, so we are now doing the research as fast as possible. Okay, so what is going to be our next focus? Uranium ammo. 6,000. Let's start with the cheapest ones. So how they figured this is that because you get uranium-235 by probability, which is currently 0.07%, what they figure that you would be doing is now I've just so what they figured that you would be doing is essentially running these things over and over and over until you get enough. It still depends on you to stock up on 40 of uranium-235 by yourself using these before you can even start the loop. So once you have the loop, you just keep spinning all of the excess uranium across that to get extra uranium-235. So you have to have those 40 uranium-235 constantly so that you can then get more out of it. And that creates some issues, but in order to even begin with it, you have to accumulate 40 uranium-235. Until you do that, there is no point in thinking about anything else. So that's the long and short of it. Until you have 40 uranium-235, you can't accumulate more. You're pretty much stuck with this ridiculous process, which is so this is the only probability-based recipe in the game. So this isn't fixed. So the probability isn't that you're gonna make 100 out of the 100 of uranium nuggets, one of them is gonna be 235. No, it just means that you, for every single of these processes, you have 0.7% that the next one built will be our uranium-235. That's crappy. Whenever you put in a probability and a random number generator into a game, it is crap. There are ways of doing this better so that you can make a setup for it. depending on a I was always against using random number generators and luck in a game, because if something depends on luck, means you have no control over it, and if you have no control over it, there is neither any skill involved nor gameplay. It's just padding. It's like using random number generators in looter shooters and stuff. Yeah, it's fine if the ratios are considerable, or if there are alternate ways of doing it. But if you're just stuck with random chance, that's crap. Especially if you have no way of actually making any impact on that chance. There are a few games that do random number and loot generation reasonably well, and one of my favorites is actually the ones that is from Final Fantasy XII. Now, in that game, like in almost any RPG out there, you have your enemies are dropping items, and they have a regular item, a rare item, and a rarer item. And the way you're getting them is quite simple. Oh, hold on. We should be making more pipes, probably. I think I can easily make another pipe. No, we are not. You just need a faster inserter. There you go. That's gonna be fine. I'm probably gonna need to build another rod, but we'll see. So anyway, what I was saying, so what I was going to is the Final Fantasy level also has, like many RPGs, it has a rarity of items and enemies drop them, and you have a certain ratio of your chances of getting a rarer or the rarest item. However, you can affect it. You can increase the ratio of getting a rarer item, and you do that simply by comboing enemies. By finding the same type of enemy over and over again, you'll develop a combo, and the longer that combo goes, the higher the number of the combo is, the chances for getting a rarer item increase. So there are like 3 or 4 levels of getting a combo up, and you have, depending on the rarity of the enemy, you have to kill them less times to increase the combo rating, and that increases your chances of getting a better item. So you have some, at least some effect on the randomness. You do get a better chance at the very least. Here, this is a crapshoot. I have no way of affecting this. Nothing, and I just checked that on the wiki, nothing that I do will make any effect on whether this line, when it comes to here, will give me a this or this. When this line gets to here, I will be getting either this or this, depending on the ratio, and the ratio is 99.3% that it's going to be uranium-238, and 0.7% that it's going to be uranium-235, and as a result of that, we have had 327 uranium-38 and 0 uranium-32. This centrifuge is doing nothing but filling this box, and this box has not had a single uranium-235 in it yet. Oh, and I need 40 of them to even start enriching them. It's absolute madness. That's one of the few serious complaints I have about the game's mechanics. Don't give me luck. Don't put anything based on... And why only that one thing? None of the other things depend on luck. Everything else is completely under your control. It's the production line of every single thing depends completely on how I line it up, how I set it up, how I do it, and what I use for these products, how efficient I make them, how inefficient I make them. It's completely on me. If any of these things stop working, it's on me. Apart from the uranium.